I got a request a while ago to do a Bella point, but I've been looking for a reference for it, and I forgot the original place where I saw the request. So I'm assuming it's a Bella Vista point, which is from Mexico, which is an interesting point. I looked it up on projectilepoints.net, and it had an example, or 3 examples of the Bella Vista. And I'm going to do one. They can be up to almost 4 inches long, but the neck width, I looked at them, it's about 1/2 inch, so it looks like a projectile point. Okay, I'm going to use some stones from Bill Taylor. And break into these. So at the same time, I'm going to see what's in these little moon rock type pieces. We'll start with this. This one looks more challenging. Yeah. Because it has all these little impact fractures. Or is it incipient little bulbs? Not impact fractures, because that terminology can be confused with what we see on projectile points. Where's my other glove? There it is. No, that's not it. I need my other one like this one. I like to wear matching. Yeah. It's bad luck to wear mismatched gloves. You didn't know? Now you know. Okay. Let's see what we got. Yeah. I still don't have much. I still don't do much prep. I need to start doing more preparation before I turn the camera on. All right, so this one is a gray banded dacite, or obsidian, excuse me. Yeah, I'm not going to use that one. I want more of a Mexican looking obsidian. Like this one, perhaps? Black butter? Yeah. That's probably better. It's got those challenging incipient cracks in it, so here we go. This is a little 5.7 ounce bopper. I can't remember now. It's all faded. Anyway, you can get these at flintknapping.com. They don't sponsor the channel usually. I think they have sent me some stuff once or twice. But I like to mention them anyway because it's worthwhile to get some of these. Now, there are other guys that make them too. I think Flintknapping Traditions and Mike Tufts also make boppers of high grade, high quality. I will mention the ones that I have experience with. I'm sure there are other good ones. I just don't have any experience with them. No, don't start moving over there all by yourselves. Things will come crashing down. I like to stack stuff, so I start causing vibrations in the floor, and the stacks start to become unstable. Unstable stacks. Oh yeah, this is nice. It is semi-translucent. Yes, it is nice. The incipient little impacts don't run very deep. No, luckily. I'm not sure where Bill Taylor gets his obsidian. I think it is glass buttes. I'm not mistaken. If I am mistaken, I get corrected very quickly. Oh yeah, it's good. Corrections are good. Yeah. Except if you try to take away my happiness. Yeah. If something's making me happy and you say I shouldn't do it, I'm not going to be very happy. No. You might be saying, this piece is too easy. It's looking to be too easy. Yeah. It might be, but I don't care. Yeah. It might be too easy to flake this stuff, but I don't care. I usually try to pick a hard piece. But if it turns out to be easy, I'm not going to look a gift nodule in the mouth. No. If it's easy, it is easy. If it's not, it's not. I'll just work with what I got. It's a rule. Man, this flaker is dusty. Not the flaker. This grinder, this abrader is dusty. Yes, it is. Am I going to violate the center line rule where I should be hitting at center line or below? Oh yeah, I always violate that. I don't care really. Unless it's getting really, really thin. Then I got to be careful. But if it's just bifacing, this is not real knapping. Nope. You don't get into the real knapping until you start thinning it, or you start knocking off big stuff like this. Okay? Yeah, I'm kind of kidding, but then I'm kind of not kidding. The real knapping is when you start thinning. The bifacing phase, it's not. You can get away with almost anything. Real knapping doesn't let you get away with much, if anything. Some guys, they take a shortcut in general and just make a bunch of stuff out of little bifaces. And they call that knapping. Okay, that's good. Yep, we all start there actually. But there's a different mindset that some people may not understand, and the lack of understanding that might mess them up in their normal knapping. Because they can't get past the bifacing stage. They just make a bunch of bifaces, or they just make a bunch of points out of, relatively thick or easily not bifaces. And they can't progress to the more difficult, thinner points. Because they don't understand it's a different mindset. Yeah. The extreme thinness is a different mindset. There are no bending of the rules, and things start to get sweaty and aggravating and all that when it starts to get thin. And the rock starts acting differently. What you thought was easy to chip stone all of a sudden becomes finicky. Yeah. Instead of generating smooth flake scars, it starts to do this kind of stuff. Crackly and very ripply. And you're going, what the heck? I'll go back to just doing a bifacing and make a bunch of points out of these little bifaces. Yeah. Yep, you can do that. it doesn't mean you're a bad napper. It just means that you're stuck in one particular mindset. Yep. It might be useful. It might not be useful for you to think about it this way, but it might be useful for you to think about the fact that you're working with different mindsets at different stages. It's not all flint-napping in the same way. They're different mindsets, and that means the flint-napping is actually different. Yeah. And some projectile points and other tools, they reflect the skill in each type of mindset that the nappers used to have. Some people have excellent skills in this bifacing with direct percussion, then get it really thin and maintain the same mindset as the normal bifacing. They just have a little bit better coordination and technique. Yeah, they can pretty much maintain the same mindset just with a little more finesse and get them pretty thin. I think the cutoff is around 5-1 or 6-1. Once you start getting past 6-1, it's much more difficult with direct percussion to get them thinner than that. You'll have to change your mindset to developing better striking areas that are strong enough to handle these impacts. As the edge and the whole body gets thinner, you got to be very selective about where you're hitting. Because right now I can hit anywhere along here, and it's going to be pretty much the same story. But as it gets thinner and thinner, not everywhere is going to work. Right now, I can hit anywhere along here, and it'll work. It'll generate a flake. So that's why I make fun. I call it not real napping, because I can generate a flake anywhere, and it's valid. There's no right or wrong place to take a flake off at this point, except maybe too much in the middle would be wrong because it makes it easier to snap in the middle. You should take the ends off first, or make the ends thinner. But yeah, anywhere along here I can generate a flake pretty easily, relatively speaking, because split napping is never easy. Compared to when it gets really, really thin, then you got to be very, very selective, and sometimes you actually have to construct an area where you can strike, because not every area is going to be conducive to all that force needed to generate long flakes. Long flakes require lots of force. It's just physics. And when you got something thin, everything changes. Yeah. What is it exactly that changes? It's just the range of options. Your options are limited. In the beginning, you have a lot of options, and you can mess up and still repair it. And you've got lots of opportunities to do anything. What am I looking for? What am I looking for? But when you get down to the thinning stage, extreme thinness, you don't have many options at all. You got to be very constricted in what and how you do things. What you do and how you do it. I can't find my other coarse abrader. It snuck off. It's so tiny it escaped. Just dump the whole box out, dude. How many times I gotta tell you? I found it. I should just start every video dumping out my box. Yeah. I don't know why I don't. I guess I don't like all the tools everywhere. Just scattered everywhere. I don't know. I don't make no sense, not even to myself. I got both gloves on because a lot of these flakes will come back and hit me in the fingers. And it's the beginning of the week. I can't afford to be already making a mess with myself at the beginning of the week. Gotta take it easy. Oh, this is so sweet. I'm thinking this material is actually too easy. Yeah. Yep. Oh, there's a pocket of something in there. There's a pocket. Is it a hot pocket? Yeah, you're so funny. Okay. Where am I going to strike? Anywhere is good. Yeah, I know. I just got through saying anywhere is good, but there are some parts that are more good than others. Okay? If you're new, you don't know the difference. That's fine. I can't explain it. And sometimes what I think is a good spot really isn't, but I gotta live with what I do. Learn from mistakes. Live with what I do or learn from my mistake. You know, I can not care about it and just live with it. I can live with that. It's not really a mistake if I can live with it. Yeah, it's just part of the way my stuff looks. Yeah. It's my stuff and I can make it look however I want. Even if it looks dumb. Who made this dumb looking point? Oh, you know who did it. That's his style over there. Oh yeah, forgot. Good job, dude. So you can turn dumb looking points into your style. Oh, okay, yeah, good job, dude. And then you giggle. Yeah, that is a shortcut. Psychological shortcut. PSYOP. Oh, it's so sweet. Yes, it is. But the difference in force was so subtle. You can kind of tell by the loudness of the strike, maybe. How loud I strike. I'm thinking you can't. I don't know. I don't pay too much attention to that because I'm more of a visual than an auditory person. But anyway, you can tell there's a slight difference in the force by the way it sounds, by the volume of the strikes. But it's very subtle when it actually comes down to the material. What I was trying to say is it's a subtle difference. It may be a subtle sound difference too. That's what I was getting at. I can't really tell. But the difference between a flake like that and a little flake like this is just very subtle. And when it is that subtle, I tend to say, oh, that's sweet, because I can visualize, even with the subtleness, a level of control. I can kind of visualize, okay, even that's a very subtle difference in strength of the strike, it does lead to some control. And I could tell, yeah, I couldn't tell that it had an effect, even though it was very subtle. Whereas sometimes I can hit it really, really hard and only get a little flake. And then not so hard, and a not big flake comes off on other materials because of the unpredictability of the edge. And some materials, they look like it's got a nice, hard, strong, robust striking area, and it just crushes. Other times it looks like kind of a delicate area. You hit it and long flake. Yeah. Sometimes it has to do with technique. Sometimes it has to do with the material. As your technique becomes more and more skillful, you notice that it's the material if there's big differences. Yeah. You didn't know that? You call yourself a spectator and you didn't even know that? Dang it. I know some of you guys you're only spectators, which is fine. Just be aware, I'm gonna poke fun. Because I know you can handle it. Okay? I know you can handle it. I know you can dish it out. That means you can handle it too, right? Yeah? No? Yeah, welcome to the internet. The ones who dish it out can't handle it. Yeah. It's a weird thing. Oh, they can handle it. They know that they can get attention if they make a fuss. Yeah. Get on the fuss bus. Come on, we're gonna make a fuss. Get on the bus. Okay, we're gonna get on the bus too. We're all on the fuss bus. Yep, this is a little bit too coarse for what I'm doing right now. So it changes from being a coarse abrader to a less coarse abrader. I should keep it thick, huh? In keeping with my general tendency these days to make them thicker, I should keep it thick. That's the trick. You want to do it quicker? Make it thicker. I want to do these quicker. I don't like the general tendency of slowing everything down to where it takes forever. No. Why? Because eventually I want to make sets of these things. Yeah, all the same. Bunch of points all the same, so I can shoot a bunch instead of just one at a target for analysis. You gonna do some analysis? Yeah, I'm gonna do some analysis. When I get my crap together. When I get myself together. And get all my stuff organized for that particular type of video. Okay. Oh, dang. See, I thought that edge was good. But since it's getting thin, they don't always act the same. Get delicate. And some of those incipients in there, they mess me up. Whereas they don't mess you up nearly as much when it's thicker. Now they say these are 4x2 maximum. 4 inches max by 2 inches max. Yeah, there you go. But I'm going by millimeters. I didn't actually do the conversions. I just did them in my head. I think 96 millimeters is the longest recorded one, which is close to 100 millimeters, which is close to 4 inches. I have these little memorizations. Left over from my work days. The days where I had a job, a regular job. We had lots of clients that worked in millimeters only. Centimeters and millimeters. It freaks you out at first because if it's, you're doing layouts for factories and stuff, and it's all in centimeters, meters and centimeters, and you're going, wait a second. How big is this place? Oh, okay. Metric. All right. Dang it. Yeah, shock wears off pretty quick, but if you're not used to it, it just messes you up, psychologically. I don't know what it is. The human brain doesn't like switching between measurement systems. I guess at least not with all these neurodivergents that I was working with. We were all neurodivergent, persnickety detail guys. But you can't be too persnickety detailed with millimeters because then the guys overseas make fun of you. What you doing in here putting 0.5 millimeter? Half a millimeter. No, just round it up. No matter what. We can tolerate it. It's in the tolerances. They just laugh. Look at the decimal point. The millimeters and decimal points. Okay, fine. Yeah, but that's the way it comes out. I don't do it. The computer automatically does it when you set a dimension in there. I don't have to go back and modify every single dimension I put in there. Yeah, but you got to mess with the settings so it rounds up to the nearest millimeter. I know it's obscure knowledge. Obscure. But that's my whole gang, and it's my whole gig. It's my whole grift. All this obscure knowledge. What do you think Flintknapping is? It's arcane, obscure knowledge. Yeah. Mysterious. It's miraculous and mysterious. Whoa, look at that. What in the heck? Yeah, see that? That opened up. It's not supposed to. It was going good. But yeah, that's the only problem, is that little area right there. There may have been a defect somewhere else, but I don't think so. I think it's because that area, the Cracchiola area, had an incipient in it. Yeah, dang it. Well, I can make a billet out of this one. Yeah. I don't need that. I'll make something else out of that. Let's see, I think 56 was the smallest measurement. Yeah, so I think I'm within range. Should stop talking about good luck and bad luck, obscure and arcane secretive knowledge. Messes me up. I'm gonna look and see what else, what other incipients can mess up my day. But yeah, it's snapping halfish for sure. But I mean, it wasn't that bad. I could take off nice big flakes. So it was the incipients. I wasn't paying attention, and they were living in there, and I didn't even boot them out. Them squatters were living on the edge there. Those incipient squatters. Yeah, that's what you get for just leaving them squatters in there. Yeah, eventually you regret it. You go, yeah, I can live with it, but nope, can't do it. Yeah, I was cruising around the internet last night, looking at news. I shouldn't be looking at news because it's all clickbait. And it's, yeah, stories about squatters, horror stories. It's like watching a train wreck. I just can't move on from the story. What does it say there? Oh, I know. I can read things about how to prevent or how to get back at the squatters or how to make them leave without, tossing them out physically. Discourage them. One guy locked him out of his kitchen. I can't imagine having a squatter on your property that comes in and tries to share your kitchen. It's probably a relative, right, that doesn't want to move out or whatever. I don't know. Or maybe even someone that you thought you were doing a favor. A friend of a friend, and then they don't leave, and then they want to share your kitchen. Put their stuff in your fridge. Start cooking meals on your stove. Hogging up the oven. Making that electric bill go up. I can't even imagine. I've had kids, friends of my kids, not want to leave the house because they don't have anywhere to go. But adult squatters, I don't know. I couldn't deal with it. Nope. I saw one guy, he just demolished his property. He wasn't living there. He couldn't get him out. Property needed serious remodeling anyway. It was kind of abandoned and the squatters moved in. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to demolish the whole thing. Yep, that's it. Okay. Here we go. We're getting down to serious business because for some reason I'm not able to thin it like I'm supposed to be thinning it with these flakes running up from the base. I'm forgetting something or I'm doing something wrong. Or just the material is kind of not what I'm used to. Yeah, see, it does do it, but not always. And just when I think I've got it down, it'll crush or do something weird. Or yeah, just when I think I got it down, it'll crack too. See that? It cracked. Okay. See, it looks totally different now, and it feels totally different than when it was in the biface stage. Perfect example. And of course, there are going to be people that say, you're just not doing it right. You're supposed to do it the same way, and you're changing it up because you think it needs to be changed, and you're just not doing it right. No, I know it needs to be changed up. And you're right, I'm not doing it right, but not for the reasons you're thinking. I do have to switch myself up a little bit. I'm just not switching to the right intensity. Maybe I took my foot off the gas too much. I'm supposed to take my foot off the gas, yeah, but not too much. As long as it doesn't go below 60 millimeter. I think I'm okay. Yeah. Pretty sure it's at 52 or 56 millimeter is the length of the shortest ones. All right, so I'm at the point where I can just sharpen it now. I don't have any major issues in the middle that I need to fix. Right? I can live with any of those little step fractures. I don't know about this one. Pick it. I just want to do this request. Just let me do this request, and that's all I ask. Yeah. This is some of my favorite stuff. This dark, buttery, obsidian, opaque, dark, buttery obsidian is my favorite stuff. But I got to admit, I don't like making big points out of it. But this one seemed so nice. I was all ready to go to town on this one. Make a big long point. Okay, I'm on this next stage. I blasted through the biface stage into the thinning stage without pausing. But now on the final finishing, I gotta pause because there's some delicate barbs on this. And there's a delicate tip on this. It's starting to get delicate. Or it's gonna start getting delicate here in a minute. Well, I can feel that pierce the glove. Can't do it that way. If I do this on the cloth side, I can feel the glass piercing through. Yeah, that rubber really does help to prevent cuts. Yeah. Okay, so it's only 38 minutes. So yeah, basic preform. I got to make it a little more narrow and constricted here, but the base is good. Now, do I make it more narrow with pressure, or should I percuss it? Should I do percussion a little bit more to make it a little more narrow? Not too much more narrow. Yeah, I'll use percussion. That way, hopefully, I can still get some good broad flakes. Let's take the glove off. Maybe I should take both gloves off. Yeah. What am I dealing with here? It is kind of steppy. But yeah, it's beautiful stuff. I like the look of it. It reminds me, I need to make some parallel flaked points out of this stuff. So whenever I come up with another big piece, remind me, I need to make a parallel flaked thingamajig out of it. Look how wonky that is. Yeah, I told you I was looking at my original points. Well, not my original, but my points that I made a long time ago. I sold some in this auction, this past one. And I left the edges all wonky like this. Yeah, I wouldn't care about straightening it, except for the big lumps, and just sharpened it, even though it was kind of wavy. I didn't make an attempt to straighten it out all the way. Nowadays, I take a long time to get these edges straight. I'm tending toward that modern look, and I don't know. I don't think it's a good trend. No, I think it is important to get the edge straight, just because it cuts better. But I got to stop at a certain point. On the point. Get my point? I got to stop at a certain point when it starts to look too modern. Yeah, I don't want it to look like a machine made it. Yeah. I'm also a little bit less concerned with thinning out the tip and the base. At this stage of final thinning, the thinning tends to even out as well, which I need to be careful about that too. I don't want to start with a nodule and end up having it look like I started with a slab because it's so straight and so consistent. Yeah, again, I don't want it to look too modern. Why? I just don't like the look. I mean, it's if you're going to have it look really modern, there are other designs to do that fit with that really methodical, perfectly symmetrical, perfectly straight look. Yeah, you can make art pieces. You don't have to. You shouldn't, use a modern looking finish technique on stuff that you're trying to duplicate or replicate. It just looks funny. Of course, it's not bad. It does help to differentiate between the modern stuff and the old stuff. But the old stuff had a certain artistic element to them. You could tell that they tried to get them balanced out to where they were kind of wonky, but they didn't look lopsided too much. It wasn't too wonky. Okay. What am I going to do? I got to make sure I can make these flakes travel without creating these land bridges or these back-to-back step fractures. Yeah, I am slowing way down. because this stuff really does change a lot when you go from the initial bifacing stage down to the final finishing. Yeah, well, I was goofing around earlier. I must have missed. I missed the change. I wanted to try to get rid of some of this crackliness in the middle, but yeah, I might just. Well, it depends. I can leave it in, but we'll see. Depends how easy it is, so to speak, to smooth out that surface. And yeah, the old ones didn't always have smooth surfaces, I know. But if I can do it without too much hassle, I'll do a smooth surface. It looks like it's going to be a hassle. I still got that crack in there. See that crack right there? Still got a little remnant of it. It's okay. Okay. So what do I talk about doing during this pressure flaking phase? Talk about what I'm doing. Teach, man. Teach it. I am teaching it just by being on the video. Yeah, but you're being lazy. You're not teaching it because you're lazy. I've been trying to teach it for years. And it seems like people get messed up because I'm explaining it just as much as they get benefit from it. Some get messed up by it. I can see it and I know what you're saying, but I don't understand it. Yeah, I know. I don't know how to make it understandable in some cases. Oh, you know what? I didn't check the thickness. It says 6 to 9 millimeters. You know what? I'm too thin. I just realized that. I'm like around 4 millimeter. Yeah, it's supposed to be 6 millimeter or thicker. That's probably why they did it that way. Because during the final thinning phase, it messes you up. I would just keep it. I forgot totally about trying to keep track of that. Dang it. Anyways. See, I might have not have broken it earlier if I remember that. 6 to 9 millimeters thick. It's good to have the thickness. And when I do have the thickness as a measurement in the description, I forget about it. Dude, you're just trying to sidestep the problem of you being too lazy to teach. Okay, fine. Don't distract from the initial conversation. Okay, fine. Maybe I'm too lazy to teach. Maybe it's my party and I can teach if I want to, or not. I've sat with guys that learn quickly, and I've sat with guys that they're not athletic or something. I don't know. You got to have a little bit of athleticism or ability to do hand-eye coordinating things to catch on to this stuff. I am aware that I could be explaining the best I can, explain it the best way I can with every video. But I don't feel it's necessary. I think about it because I'm trying to be more economical with my time. What should I focus on? If I'm scatterbrained all over the place, sometimes I focus on that, sometimes on this. I tend to forget what I'm doing. It doesn't stick. If you stay with one course, you can get better at it. If you jump around too much, you're not doing the same thing over and over again. In order to improve, you got to be doing the same thing over and over and over again. And you tweak it and improve on it. I try to entertain myself during the videos. And a lot of people like the entertainment value and watch just to watch this Flintknapping and not to learn how to do it. They just want to see it done. And then there are also people who want to absorb all the insights and techniques and technologies, I guess, and the different ways of doing it. Yeah. But I gotta, in order to improve in one of the areas, I've got to stay with that area and not bounce back and forth. I find that I'm less motivated to do the teaching than I am to do the entertaining. And if I'm not entertaining others, at least I'm not getting bored. Yeah. It seems like I can do a little bit better job sharpening if I just sharpen one, do a pass only on one side. So that's what I'm going to do. It is a funny material. It crushes very easily when the edge is thin. Almost to the point where it's extremely difficult to sharpen. It's not that bad, but it's almost extremely difficult. If it was just a little bit more crushy, like some of that gray obsidian, then it would be almost impossible. And I do find it very, very challenging to sharpen. This is not too bad, but I got step fracturing. Oh well. It's just the beginning of the week. These don't have to be that pretty. They just need to get prettier as the week progresses. Yeah. Come on. These things have little needle tips sometimes. Okay, I'll be able to sharpen that in a little while. The very tip. I'll sharpen the very tip in a little while. In the meantime, I gotta do the notches. And maybe pick out some of those step fractures. I don't know what's causing so much dust. Maybe the dryness is causing a lot of electrostatic effects, making the dust cling to the obsidian. Okay, 1 hour. Dang it. Not supposed to take that long. Can you see I'm having a little bit of trouble seeing. Maybe it's the angle of the everything going on here. Hold on. Let's do some adjustments. There's also a strategy on doing barbs and stuff. There are ways to be more careful doing these. I just haven't explored it because I'm mainly focused on how do I make these notches deep without having to go to vertical punch work or vertical pressure work. I'm eventually probably going to have to switch over to do vertical pressure work. I'm just dreading it because when I tried it last, I got napper's cramp. Yeah. That's different from shoulder impingement. Napper's cramp is when you just get way too tired doing a certain technique. When it involves pressure. On this style of point, these notches are, pretty deep. But there's a way to do these barbs that they come out really thin, and it has to do with the tool that you use and with the order in which you remove the flakes, and I just haven't explored it. On some artifacts, I see these extremely thin barbs, which doesn't make much sense unless they had a technique to do it that kind of guaranteed their success. Otherwise, trying to thin out these barbs will lead to disaster in most cases. It's got to be a technique. And I don't know about this particular point. I'm not talking about this particular point style. I'm talking about, in general, I've seen some points that have very, very thin barbs. That's just crazy. You can snap them off with your finger. You can go tick, snap them right off. Maybe they're meant to be that way, yes, but how did they do it? I want to know how they do it, just like you do. How did they do it? I need to know how they did it. I'm in that boat too. I don't need to know, but I would like to know. Yeah. Or maybe they just spent 2 days doing the notches like little obsessed goober heads that they were. Yeah. Maybe it was an obsession. Why are you thinning out the barbs, man? Because I need to satisfy my soul. Okay, dude. Yeah, this actually notches pretty easily. But I can't take it for granted. No, no, no. Don't take it for granted. It also thins down pretty easily as long as you don't lose track of the edge quality like I did. Yeah. Always maintain a good edge as far as quality with no incipient cracks or any big flaws. That's what did me in. I left in a big flaw and I went, man, it don't matter. Yeah. I'm going to thin out these barbs here in a minute because they're supposed to be thinner than this, but I'm going to thin them from the outside. And with my luck, this is not the Bella point that the subscriber was thinking about. No, that's not the Bella. That's the Bella Vista. Okay, well, I lost track of our conversation. I know you'll correct me. That's why I did it. Yeah. Well, that's why I like doing them, because if I do them wrong, I'll get a correction. Oh, okay. Let's see what you're talking about, because I never heard of those. And I had never heard of this before I looked it up. And yeah, sure enough, it's a Mexican point from the Aztec days. From the Valley of Mexico. Yeah, so these are some nasty dart points. And being thick, they were meant to do some heavy duty, fired from strong arms yielding big ladles. I don't know. But a 6 to 9 millimeter thick point at this size is pretty robust. It means they wanted to do some business, take care of some business. What's the distance on the neck? I should probably go a little bit more narrow. By deepening the notches just slightly. Got to be careful. Just because it's easy to notch doesn't mean to get carried away with it. Because that one wrong push on the bottom of the notch can snap that neck. Yep. Why did I come up with a 1/2 inch? Because I remember some of the millimeter measurements. 15 millimeter. Let's see. This one's like 16. I'll just leave it. Yeah. I don't have all day. It's already late. I'm pretty sure they flared out. Right? I still don't remember. I just looked at them and I don't remember. Forgive me if they don't flare out. Yeah, because I just messed it up. Why don't you do a drawing before you start, dude? Prep time. I will start doing the drawings before I start the napping. Oh, yeah. Having a drawing is easier than trying to look back in the book or look on the internet on my tablet. Just do a drawing of it. Put some dimensions on the drawing, too. You know, like you used to do, professionally. I know, I know. My brain tells me all these things. I know. But I left that job for a reason. It just seemed like problem after problem after problem. And not any ability to say, well, heck with it, man. Just live with what I got. No, you can't do that. Everything is fix this and fix that. Get that just right, get that just right. And it's satisfying up to a point. It's satisfying if it can be satisfied, but there's always something else that can be done. And if they want to, they can find an excuse to get rid of you. Yep. But yeah, I made a lot of money doing it. So it wasn't all bad. I'm getting a lot of blurriness. Is that what you're seeing too? The whole thing was blurry the whole time? Probably. In this case, I can't do only one side of the tip. I gotta bifacially flake this to get it thinned down. Yeah, okay. Nice. I can live with that. Yeah. And I think that they either flared out like this or they were uh, pretty straight. Obviously, I'm trying to think. Um, no, I do think they flared out like that. Yeah. But what I meant to say is it does constrict a little bit up here, but when it flares out, it doesn't continue to flare. It's straight at the end of the barb, and not concave at the end of the barb. It's concave up here a little bit, and then it straightens out maybe. But I'm just going to leave it this way. Yeah. And it should have been thicker, but I like it. If you leave it thicker, you can make it smoother. Yeah, because on my attempts to thin it down, I ended up step fracturing it. And of course, breaking it in half. But yeah, I can develop a nice flake pattern on this stuff. I'm trying to remember the name of the point. It's not Stockton. It's some other point from the Great Basin that has a lot of parallel flaking in this kind of obsidian. Humboldt, right? Some of the Humboldts are very well parallel flake. They had a lot of skill in their parallel flaking. The general overall shape of the Humboldt isn't no big deal. It's just the flaking skill was amazing. This has a little more artistic uh, flair to it as far as the overall design. Yeah. When the flaking was random, it looks like that. So there are the two extremes. Yeah, they can be very artsy in the outline and just random flaking, or they can be very rudimentary in the outline and exceptionally regular flaking, and with lots of skill. Okay. What's it look like hafted? Well, I don't fully haft them. I just stick them on the end of a foreshaft to see how it looks. Yeah. I foreshaft a little bit too. It's not deep enough. This is probably too deep. Yeah. Got the mid range. There you go. Yeah. I would not want to be hit with that. Not at all. I have a feeling these were used for warfare. Being so fancy, you don't need something fancy for hunting. On the contrary, it's better that you don't. Yeah. It's better that you don't have something fancy because you're going to break off the barbs in the tip. You take this on a hunting trip, take it on a trip, break off barbs and tip. That's a rule. What about war parties and warfare expeditions? Maybe they were using defensive wars where you didn't go on an expedition, you just held it back for invaders, and if they come in your territory, you whip these out. Yeah. And they go, oh no, they're going to whip out the barbed ones. Yikes, we're out of here. Okay, I'm going to take a few pictures and then I'll post it. And then we'll be done. And hopefully this was the right thing that I was requested to do. Yeah. Bella Vista. Bella Vista. Yeah. All right. That's it.